Today, I'll be trying some new art materials that I recently got. I always love getting new art supplies and experimenting different ways to use them, so I thought I'll share them with you so that you get inspired to try these out as well. Since I got these separately over the course of several months and some of these have been sent over by brands or gifted, I had kept it unused till now so that I could show you all of them together through this video. We will start with watercolors, which is of course my most favorite medium to paint with, and move on to the other supplies. Hey friends, I'm Geetu, aka Colorful Mystique, a full-time aerospace engineer with an art business as a side hustle and an art instructor. I usually get my new supplies from Jackson's online store, which is UK's favorite online supplier for the finest art materials. But my other go-to shop is Amazon, and I always make sure to compare the prices on different platforms to get the best deal possible, because who wouldn't like to save a few bucks, right? Starting this first YouTube video of 2023 with this set of watercolors kind of feels like a tribute, because these were gifted by a very special friend who actually is no more. I would like to dedicate this video to our friendship and to her. These are 7 new shades of watercolors that I got recently. 2 of them are from Schmincke, 2 from Daniel Smith, and the other 3 from Core, which were the ones gifted by my best friend Pallavi. This is my watercolor swatch journal, which is where I note down the swatches of all the colors that I own and gives me an immediate reference point when I'm looking for a particular shade. Whenever I buy any watercolor shade or set, the first step I do is to swatch out the colors in this swatch journal and note down its properties, which also helps me to learn and memorize the pigment information of various colors. This is something that my friends and students have pointed out occasionally, that my knowledge about watercolor pigments and paints are worth commenting, and it all comes down to this swatch journal of mine. The 2 colors from Daniel Smith are Amazonite Genuine and Perylene Green, which were recommended to me by a friend. And as soon as I saw that there was a sale going on over at Jackson's, I instantly purchased these. I think the Amazonite Genuine is a really good color for painting water, and the Perylene Green, which is actually a black pigment PBK31, is something that I have recently gravitated towards too in my paintings whenever I'm painting darker foliage and dense forests. The neutral tint shade from Schmincke is actually one of my favorites and is already part of my palette since many years now. And this tube is kind of like a replacement one because I have already squeezed as much as I can and exhausted the old one. I'm still swatching it because I love the color and it came along with the Daniel Smith ones in one single purchase. I love to do long color swatches that shows me entire tonal range of the color, which saves me time when I'm looking for lighter or darker tones in my painting. The other color from Schmincke is called Desert Brown, and I got it because it was part of the newly released granulating shades and I was dying to try them out. I chose the brown shade because I have never seen or used a granulating color in an earthy tone, and this fact really intrigued me. I know that the paper that I'm testing the granulation is probably not the best for watercolors, especially when shooting on camera, but I was happy enough to see some of the particles sediment out in the water at random places. The last 3 are colors from Core Watercolors, which is the one that my friend gifted to me, and I kind of left it along with the other supplies that I had brought back along with me from my trip to India, and I now feel guilty that I hadn't tried it yet. This is my first time trying out this brand, and I must say I'm quite impressed with the vibrancy and the flow of the paintings in water as I move my brush along. I remember my friend telling me that Core watercolors are manufactured using Aquazole as a binder, unlike gum arabic or honey, which is used by other watercolor manufacturers, making these paints less prone to flaking and aging. I can quite feel the difference in the color strength of the 3 pigments compared to the other watercolor brands that I have used. I definitely want to try these out on a higher quality watercolor paper like Arches or Saunders, which are my go-to brands for paper. If I didn't already have the massive collection of paints from other brands, I would have seriously considered moving to Core watercolors. So thank you, Pallavi, for letting me try out these gorgeous shades. I have also labeled everything underneath each color so that if I want to refer back to it later, I know which is which color. I will leave a link to most of the supplies mentioned in the description box below so that you can purchase them if you ever need to try these out. Moving on to some of the new brushes I received from Silver as part of their educator program, let me show you how to break into a new brush. Brush manufacturers often dip the brush in a water-soluble glue which holds the bristles together to prevent any damages to it during the shipping process. This is why a new brush feels hard on the bristles and feels like it takes forever to loosen up. But one tip to remember is to never press on those hard bristles if you intend to care for your brushes long term. Since the glue used is water soluble, the simplest method that I use to loosen up the glue is to dip the brush in a jar of water and to keep stirring it until I can feel that all the hairs are loosened up. Occasionally, you can check the brushes on the palm of your hand and feel the bristles softening up. This may seem like a time-consuming process, but is one that keeps the bristles of your brush damage-free for a long time. These two brushes are Atelier Golden Taklon quill brushes from Silver, which have a fine point and designed for both acrylic and watercolors. I usually test my mop brushes by filling the entire belly of the brush with watercolor pigment in a milky consistency and letting it release it onto the paper in a continuous flow so that I can observe the water and paint holding capacity of the brush, the way it releases the pigment, and the largest possible stroke with that particular brush. As you can see, it goes on for almost an entire page, which means you can easily cover up an A5 sheet of paper by picking up the pigment just once. Since the testing process of the brushes are typically the same, I'm not going to bore you with the entire process. I purchased these Arteza watercolor pencils quite a while back and they had been lying in my drawer unused for quite some time. One of my New Year resolutions this year is to experiment with more mediums and to get out of my comfort zone of using just watercolors. I love the possibilities that mixed media art offers and I'm excited to travel on a new track. I purchased these from Amazon while it was under an offer with 70% off. So I felt that even if I end up not using it a lot, the purchase was justified. And just like that, I did an impulse buy and it has been lying there ever since. This was the 72 color set, so it kind of attracted me to the various color combinations that I could try out. Since I had never used watercolor pencils before, blending them was not something that I was used to, but I'm truly excited to get working with these and learn a lot of new techniques along the way. Also, let us just close our eyes and forget that you ever saw me try out this failed landscape with the watercolor pencils. It was my first time, so I hope you won't give me a hard time with it. I also bought these 3 new packages of art materials from Amazon this week. I usually go over to Jackson's for my regular watercolor supplies, but when it comes to shopping for new and unused art materials, I gravitate towards Amazon as they ship next day or same day with my Prime account. I do get next day delivery options with Jackson's as I am in the UK, but that requires a minimum purchase of £75, which is not always possible. I found the Prismacolor Kohl Erase pencils through a YouTube video, and the fact that it was erasable color pencils really intrigued me. I was initially thinking of getting colored lead for my mechanical pencils, but I kind of enjoy creating different values with the regular pencil now, so this seemed like the perfect choice. I might get the colored leads for my mechanical pencil as well eventually, but this is something that I wanted to include in my sketching process, also to make my sketchbook slightly more aesthetically pleasing with the colorful sketches. They are quite lighter than what I had expected it to be, but I think I can live with that. These Micron fine liners are something that I have had my eyes on forever, but put off buying it until now because I was never into a lot of sketching. But since the beginning of this new year, I have started this daily sketching practice, and once I got into that hobby, having these was more like a necessity. I really love the fact that it came out as a set of different sizes ranging from 0.25mm to 0.7mm. I'm really impressed with the minute and the thin lines with the 0-1 size and the high contrast between the narrow ones and the thicker sizes. I have started more practice sessions of sketching from still life, so this is the IKEA lamp on my desk, which I was able to quickly sketch out while trying out the Micron pens. Each of these 3 purchases has an intention behind them and is mostly related to some of my New Year resolutions. The third package is the Strathmore Tone Tan Mixed Media Paper in 300 GSM, which I had heard is really good for acrylics and gouache. And I have seen some paintings where the edge of the painting really looked cool with the tone tan color, and I was really itching to try them out. These are also available in grey, and I wanted to get that as well, but unfortunately couldn't find any in Amazon at that time. Since these are only 15 sheets in a block, I don't want to waste them on a trial session, and I think I'll save it up for my paintings with gouache or acrylics on it. Lastly, the Winsor & Newton Introductory Designer's Gouache Set is my new addition into the studio. I have tried a lot of gouache paints, but I have heard so many positive reviews about this brand that really made me want to try it. I really love the packaging and the fact that it consisted of the basic primary and the convenience colors that anyone would need to get started with gouache. The moment I did swatches of these, I understood what the hype was all about. I have never used such a creamier and rich set of gouache paints before. They were highly pigmented enough for me to reload my brush from the swatches and try out part of a simple landscape. I'm really excited to try out each of these new supplies and create a lot of art with it. I hope you have found this video helpful in some way and gained some value from it, be it trying out new brushes or swatching new colors. Be sure to like this video to show me your appreciation and comment below if you have gained some value from this today. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, it'll really help to support the channel. I'm off to create something with my new art supplies, so see you in my next video.